Hello students and learners, welcome to Brainbox tutorials 11 and 12. I'm your teacher Priyanka and today we will do poetry telephone conversation written by Wole Soyinka. This poetry is in the syllabus of ICSC class 12. So let us do the poetry. So before we start the poetry, let us know a bit about the poet Wole Soyinka. He is a Nigerian playwright, poet and essayist and the first African to win the Nobel Prize in Literature 1986. So he is a Nobel Prize winner. He is known for his powerful works on politics, human rights and identity. Soyinka's writings blend African culture with Western literary forms, challenging colonialism, oppression and societal injustice with deep intellect and satire. And that is what we will read in this poetry, telephone conversation, societal injustice and racial discrimination. The summary of the poem is telephone conversation recounts a dialogue between a black African man who is a speaker in this poem and a white British landlady over the phone. So the speaker is talking over phone to this British lady because he wishes to rent a flat. So the speaker wishes to rent a flat and is honest about his skin color. What follows is a series of absurd and deeply revealing exchanges about race, prejudice and hypocrisy in modern society. The poem, laced with irony and wit, showcases the casual racism present in daily interactions. Here we will see that the speaker, that is the African man, he likes the flat and the rent is okay, the location is also all right, and then he casually says this to the lady that maybe he has encountered this many a times, that is why he just wants to warn the lady that he is African. And by listening to this, the mood of the lady suddenly changes and she asks him a very absurd question, that how dark are you, very dark or light? That is, what is the level of your darkness, whether you are very dark or just dark? And then he answers it very gracefully but satirically, wittily. So that we would do when we go through the poetry line by line. So main theme of the poetry are, first is racism and prejudice. That is the central theme. The poem mainly talks about racial discrimination. Then second one is absurdity of racial stereotyping. Here Soyinka presents the landlady's questions as laughably ignorant. For example, when she asks, how dark are you, light or very dark? So she treats the speaker's complexion as if it were a defect to be analyzed. Then third one is irony and hypocrisy in society, that the lady is very rich, so she obviously is educated and civilized, but her mindset shows the hypocrisy. Now next one is identity and dignity. The speaker maintains his dignity throughout the poetry and uses his intellect and irony and the satire also, which exposes landlady's narrow-mindedness. In-depth analysis, that Soyinka masterfully uses sarcasm and irony to turn a painful experience into biting social commentary. He gives voice to countless people who have faced casual racism. His speaker is witty, educated, restrained, while the landlady, though unseen, is exposed as irrational and petty. There is an intellectual dignity in how the speaker handles the situation. He answers it very gracefully. He doesn't lash out but allows the absurdity of the landlady's questions to speak for itself. This is the beauty of this poetry, the words which he has used, the way he answers the question of this lady. Okay, so now the poetry starts. The price seemed reasonable, location indifferent. So in the first line itself, the speaker is telling its readers that the price of the flat to be rented. So that seemed reasonable, that price is okay, price of the rent is okay. Location indifferent. Indifferent means okay. That means it is not very good but also not a bad location. Indifferent. Okay, doesn't matter. It is acceptable. Okay, it is acceptable. The landlady swore she lived off premises. This is also the third point, which is good looking from the point of view of the speaker, that the landlady said that I will give you your privacy. I will not live in that flat or nearby. I will be off premises. Nothing remained but self-confession. Madam, I warned, I hate a wasted journey. I am African. Now nothing remained. That means nothing remained to us. These are the three important points which are favorable points to accept the flat. That is, first number is that the price is reasonable. Second number, that the location is also acceptable. And the third one, that the landlady does not live in the premises. She lived off premises. These are the three important points to accept the flat. But then the speaker says it is self-confession. Now, we generally confess when we have done something wrong. When we do a crime, we confess it. When we do something wrong, we confess it. So here, what kind of a confession he does? He says that I am African. So according to the speaker, the society in which he was living was very judgmental and specially influenced by racial discrimination. So he confesses it because maybe he has experienced this kind of situations many a times, that everything was okay and then suddenly a person comes to know that he is African. That means his skin color is dark, he is black, and so they must have cancelled the deal. So that is why he, as a self confession, that as if it is a crime to be black, he wanted to be assured that he is getting this flat. So he says, Madam, I warned. He is giving a kind of warning that I am telling you beforehand that I am African. I hate a wasted journey. I hate a wasted journey. That means I will go with all my luggage to the house and then you will see and suddenly you will realize, oh, you are a black African. I can't rent my flat to a black person, and then she will say no. So better it is, I don't want that kind of exertion. I hate a wasted journey. My journey would be waste to go there, then come so many miles. So better it is to tell you beforehand that I am African, I am black. Silence. Silenced transmission of pressurized good breeding. Now, here the poet describes the reaction of the landlady when she hears the confession. When she comes to know that the speaker is a black man, she goes silent and she hesitates before responding, revealing discomfort. So, the poet says that the lady is like the so called white people of good breeding. Now, this is a kind of sarcasm used here, that these kind of people who have pressurized good breeding, that means even though they do not like black people, but they do not speak out against black people. That is their decency. Voice, when it came, lipstick coated, long gold rolled, cigarette holder pipped. Caught, I was foully. So now the speaker, that the black man, hears the voice of the lady. Just by hearing her voice over the telephone, he can imagine that her lips must be painted red with lipstick and she must be smoking and using a gold color cigarette lighter. That means she is very rich and sophisticated, belonging to a higher society, higher class society. Caught, I was foully. That means as if he has done something wrong and he was caught doing that wrong thing. So now the lady asks, how dark? I had not misheard. Are you light or very dark? Now the landlady, as she is educated and belongs to a higher class, richer class, so she is careful not to use that taboo word black. Instead, she asks an indirect question on the level, the degree of darkness. How dark? Dark or very dark? So to the black man, it appears as if he is asked to make a choice. That is why here it is written button B, button A. That means as if two choices are there, whether to press button B or button A. But here one more meaning is there, that he feels so uncomfortable by that question that he starts looking here and there, whatever he can see around him. He is in a telephone booth talking over the telephone and he could see around him. So first thing he sees are the two buttons, button B and button A, which were there on the telephone. Then stench of rancid breath of public hide and speak. Now rancid breath, rancid, that means bad breath. He can smell the bad breath. Now bad breath of public, but the symbolic meaning here is that he can smell the bad breath of hypocrisy coming out from the voice of the lady. So here the description and the words hide and speak, that is taken from the word hide and seek, that is a game, but hide and speak, that means hide your actual feeling and then speak what the white lady is doing. So white people always hide their racial discrimination in public, but they practice it in private. That is the double standard. So that double standard behavior also angers this man. He feels a mix of frustration and disbelief that this question has actually been asked to him. So overall, these lines expose the hypocritical nature of white people in society. Red booth, red pillar box, red double-tiered omnibus, squelching tar. It was real. So here are the pictures of red telephone booth, red pillar box and red omnibus, that is double-decker bus. Because the black man is feeling awkward, that is why he is looking here and there around him. So he saw the buttons, two buttons, button B and button A, then the public walking over here and there. Then he saw the red telephone booth, red pillar box and red omnibus passing by, and they all appear red to him. But they are all of red color. So that red color also is an example of racism. That color is a reminder of prevailing racism in the white society, where lighter complexions are always associated with privilege, and darker one, they face bias. So he looks at the red color telephone booth, red color pillar box and red double tiered, that is double decker omnibus, which is squelching tar. Squelching tar, that means when it is moving over tar, so it is oppressing the tar. So again the imagery of oppression through this omnibus has been shown. It was real. That means it is all real. This question was actually being asked by a person to another one. So it was real. So the person is still in shock. Shamed by ill-mannered silence, surrender pushed dumbfoundment to beg simplification. Pushed dumbfoundment. Dumbfound, that is speechless. So he was speechless. He could not understand what to do or what to say. And the silence of the lady was ill-mannered. That means he could understand the silence, why the lady is silent. She must be thinking how to say no to this man, because now she has come to know that the man is black in color. So now he is speechless. He cannot say, he cannot express his feelings at this time. Then he says, considerate she was, varying the emphasis, are you dark or very light? Revelation came. You mean like plain or milk chocolate? So, in a satirical way, the speaker says that the lady still was very considerate. Considerate means careful, careful that she should not harm the person she is talking to by her words. So that is why she again emphasizes, she wants to know the exact level of darkness the person has. So she asks, are you dark or very light? That means tell me exactly the degree or the level of your darkness. So now the speaker says, you mean like plain or milk chocolate? So now the speaker is also having fun. Plain or milk chocolate, this is plain chocolate, this is milk chocolate. So the lady wants to know the exact skin tone of the person. So the speaker also wittingly, he asks, you mean to ask whether my skin is like plain chocolate or milk chocolate? Her accent was clinical, crushing in its light impersonality. Her accent was clinical. Clinical means detached. And crushing in its light impersonality meaning is crushing, that is, it conveys the emotional and psychological weight of racism the speaker can feel. How he experiences a sudden shift in the landlady's tone and demeanor, revealing that devastating impact of her prejudice. And light impersonality, that is, the landlady's prejudice is not a personal attack, but rather a reflection of societal attitudes. She is not reacting to this scholar as an individual, but as a representative of a race, a particular race, which she feels is inferior to them. That is the black people. That person is not one person, but all black people. So that this is the theme, the main central theme of the poem. Hurtful nature of racism, which can crush individual, and how they remain, the white people, how they remain totally detached. Rapidly, wavelength adjusted. I chose West African sepia, and as afterthought, down in my passport. Now the caller here describes how dark he is. He is also not ready to use the word black. So, but he tells her that he is black indirectly. He tells her the exact tone of his complexion, that is West African sepia. So, West African, so that word describes from where he is coming. So, he has selected the word very carefully, West African, and the sepia is brown in color. This color is sepia brown. So he clearly wants to make this lady understand that this is my uh, color tone, color tone of my skin. And then he brings the terminology used in his passport as evidence and support. This also shows that he is not ready to accept that he is black, and he is proud of the place or his roots to where he belongs. That he says that this is the color in my passport also, in my identity also. Silence for spectroscopic flight of fancy, till truthfulness changed her accent. Hard on the mouthpiece. What is that? Conceding. Don't know what that is. Spectroscopic flight of fancy is a metaphorical phrase. It suggests a process of categorizing or analyzing something in a very detailed way, similar to how a spectroscope breaks down light into its component color. Okay, you know, in a spectrum, this is a term used in physics, that spectrum, that is white light, is made up of 7 colors. So a spectroscope breaks down white light into its 7 components color. So that subject has been applied here in a fanciful idea. So this phrase is used to describe the landlady's attempts to categorize the speaker's race based on his description of his skin color. How dark are you? So the phrase highlights the absurdity of her approach, comparing her racial profiling to a scientific analysis of light. As if she wants to properly categorize, she did not understand the meaning of sepia. That is why she asked, "What's that?" Considering don't know what that is. That means I don't exactly know what is sepia, which color is sepia. So she cannot exactly understand how dark the person is. So she wants to categorize the darkness. Now the speaker answers, like brunette. That is dark, isn't it? This is said by the lady. She says that's dark, isn't it? That means she understood the meaning of brunette. The color brunette is also similar to sepia, almost this brown. So the speaker uses another terminology, another word to explain to the lady that this is the color of my skin exactly. When she does not understand sepia, so he gives another name, like brunette. Now the lady understood. So the lady is asking, that's dark, isn't it? Not altogether. Facially, I am brunette, but madam, you should see the rest of me. Palm of my hand, soles of my feet are a peroxide blonde. Friction caused, this is blonde color. This one is, the hair here has been shown, this is of blonde color. So the speaker again uses his wit for answering her question, that isn't it dark, brunette? So he says that the palms of his hand and soles of his feet are not black. They are of blonde color. That means they are quite fair. So you should not think that I am completely dark. My only my face is dark, but you should see rest of me. That means I should come over once, and then you should see that my soles of my feet or the hands, the palm of my hand are not black. Then he says, friction caused foolishly, madam, by sitting down has turned my bottom raven black. And now he gives a very funny remark. He says that for sitting for a long time, as a reason for blackness of his backside, that because of sitting for a long time, because of the friction on the back while sitting, my back, that means the hip portion, has become black just because of the friction. One moment, madam, sensing her receiver rearing on the thunderclap about my ears. Suddenly, he can feel that the lady is about to hang up. That means she is about to put the receiver down. So he quickly says, "One moment, madam, मतलब एक मिनट सुन लो मेरी बात." And then he says, "Madam, I pleaded, wouldn't you rather see for yourself?" That means he pleads. He pleadingly asks the landlady to meet him in person before coming to a decision, that the man should be given at least a chance. She should meet him personally and then decide whether he is very dark or acceptable dark. Okay, so now let us go through some literary devices used. Irony has been used, satire has been used, obviously. Irony is the whole poem is dripping with irony, a polite conversation that becomes a display of ignorance. Then satire, Soyinka ridicules racism using humor, making clear how illogical it is. Enjambment has been used many a times where, for example, this one has turned my bottom raven black. Here, after has turned, no punctuation has been used, and the second line starts. So here, enjambment has been used. Then sensing her receiver rearing, this is also enjambment. So first, second, third line, then fourth line, all these four lines are enjambment, and you can see many examples of enjambment here also. In its light impersonality, wavelength adjusted, I chose till here. So this is also enjambment use. So we can see many examples of enjambment. Then imagery, there are many vivid, that is clear visual details, visual imagery, red bus, pillar box, star, okay, that clearly takes us to that 1950 1960s Britain. Then symbolism has been used. Red boot and rancid breath, they symbolize societal decay hidden under British politeness. That means they may talk very politely, showing their etiquettes, but inside they bear a grudge against these people. They feel these people, black people, are very inferior to them. Then the tone we can see it shifts from polite, then sarcastic, and then last one is biting. The speaker remains calm, but his intellect shines through. The way he handles the questions of how dark, when she exactly wants to know the degree of his darkness. So this is the explanation of the poetry. I hope you have understood this. You can pause the video and take down these notes: in-depth analysis, theme of the poetry, summary of the poetry, etc. These will be helpful for you. See you soon with the explanation of another chapter or poetry. Till then, keep on preparing, keep practicing. And remember, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and share it with your friends. Bye bye. Jai Hind.